It was a quiet morning in the forest of Wispia. Sunlight slipped through the leaves, and the air smelled of damp earth and flowers. Among the branches, a very curious squirrel spent her days inventing impossible things. Pine cone wheels, leaf umbrellas, raindrop clocks, but nothing worked the way she expected. Her inventions made more noise than results. Sometimes she even tripped over her own ideas. And the branches often got tangled in her tail, leaving a little mess behind her. The other animals laughed, and some just shook their heads. But the squirrel never gave up. She always found a reason to try again. "Maybe today it will work," she said every morning, because inventing always made her smile. Even if everything ended upside down, she kept dreaming of new ideas. One day, a strong wind blew through the forest, and the squirrel had a brand new idea. She tied colorful leaves to a dry branch and let them spin in the air. They spun fast, then slow, and made such a pleasant sound that no one walking by could ignore it. "What is that supposed to do?" asked the gorilla in a deep voice. "I don't know," the squirrel replied. "But look, doesn't it make you feel good?" The wind kept blowing, and all the animals gathered around to see. The forest filled with laughter, but this time, they weren't laughing at her. They were laughing with joy. The squirrel realized her invention didn't fix anything, but it did something much better. It brought joy to the whole forest. And she understood that what mattered wasn't whether her ideas worked, but the happiness of imagining, creating, and sharing. Some of her inventions might help someone, and others might simply make others smile. And deep down, that was what she loved most about inventing. Each attempt made her just a little happier. And so today's adventure comes to an end. The forest hides many more wonderful stories waiting to be discovered. Every night, a new story begins to shine in Wispia. It was a quiet morning in the forest of Wispia. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, and the forest slowly woke up around them. A young rabbit hopped happily toward his burrow until he suddenly stopped. Surprised, a large stone was blocking almost the whole entrance. He tried everything he could think of, pushing with his paws, jumping on top of it, even trying to move it with a stick. The stone didn't move an inch. At that moment, a moose appeared between the trees, tall and strong, but with a gentle look. "Do you need help?" he asked. Together, they pushed with all their strength, but even then, the stone stayed firmly in place. Then a crow came gliding down in circles. "I saw you from above," he said. "I think I can help you find the best direction to push." With the crow's guidance and a big shared effort, the stone rolled to the side, and the rabbit could finally see his burrow free again. Grateful, the rabbit decided to walk with the moose and the crow for a little while more. As they wandered, the crow told them that earlier that morning he had lost something very precious, a tiny shiny pebble that had fallen into the tall grass, where he just couldn't find it. The moose parted the grass with his antlers, and the rabbit, much smaller, slipped between the leaves and sniffed around until he found the hidden pebble. "Here it is," said the rabbit, happy to help his new friend. The crow flapped his wings with joy, deeply grateful. A little later, as they kept walking, the moose admitted quietly, "I wanted to taste the sweet berries from that big tree, but they're too high, even for me." The crow flew up to the branches and pointed out where the ripest berries were. The rabbit couldn't reach them either, but he suddenly had an idea. "Moose, "Could you help me climb?" he asked. The moose bent down slowly, and the rabbit climbed carefully up his antlers until he reached the branch, shaking it so the berries would fall to the ground. Under the soft light of sunset, the three of them stopped to rest. "Alone, each of us had problems," said the rabbit. "But together, we can do anything," added the crow. The moose nodded happily, feeling that the forest was a better place when they worked as one. And so, today's adventure came to an end. The forest hides many other exciting stories waiting to be discovered. Every night, a new tale begins to shine in Wispia. It was a calm morning in the forest of Wispia. Soft light filtered through the leaves, and the woods slowly began to wake. A young owl left his nest early. He had woken up hungry and decided to look for his favorite berries in the forest. As he flew happily, a sudden gust of wind pushed him to one side. The owl wobbled in surprise. He steadied himself, opened his wings wide, and adjusted his path, learning to glide with the changing wind. Wanting to move faster, he headed for his usual shortcut, a narrow passage between roots that he used every day. But when he arrived, he froze. A fallen log was blocking the path completely. He took a deep breath, looked around, and found a new trail, longer, but also more beautiful. He reached the berry tree he loved so much, but it was empty, not a single berry in sight. He searched through branches, moved leaves, looked from every angle, but still found nothing at all. Then he noticed a nearby bush with different fruits. He tried them and discovered he loved those too. With his belly full, he flew back toward his tree. He usually stopped to rest on the same branch halfway to his nest. But when he arrived, he saw a little bird asleep right on that spot. The owl blinked, confused. He tried a few other branches and found one even more comfortable, with a beautiful view of the forest. Settled on his new perch, the owl thought, "Today almost nothing went as planned, but I think I learned more than I expected." Things don't always turn out the way we hope, but adapting to change makes everything easier. And so, today's adventure came to an end. The forest hides many more exciting stories waiting to be discovered. Every night, a new tale begins to shine in Wispia.